let's talk about the most famous of the Frashëri brothers, the legend who is known for promoting both Albanian and Turkish nationalism. You've probably seen Albanian schools named after him, and there's a very good explanation for that, so listen up. The great Sami Frashëri played a huge role in Albania's independence, and for Albanians in general, but also Albanian education. He is famous for writing that Albania cannot exist without the Albanians cannot exist without the Albanian language, and the latter cannot exist without its own alphabet and without schools. His love of education and his sharp intelligence was widely recognized by both the Ottomans, later the Turks, who still celebrate him today as well, and of course his own people, the Albanians. His fondness of writing and reading is also widely known, as is the fact that he owned around 15,000 books in his private library, which is my dream. What makes him so interesting even today is that he supported both Turkish and Albanian nationalism, as well as secularism, which is what we have in Albania and Kosovo today. State and religion are kept separate. Very smart man, right? Did I mention he was born in 1850? Sami was many things. He was a writer and a publicist of several newspapers, but most importantly, he was an ideologist of the Albanian national movement, as were his brothers, whom I've also made videos about. Like his older brothers, obviously, Sami was born a Bektashi Muslim in the village of Frashë, and he was educated in Janina, where he became acquainted with the intellectual traditions of both the East and the West. He became a civil servant in the Vilayet office of Janina before moving to Istanbul in 1872 for a position at the press directorate in the Ottoman civil service. His commentaries on current events and world politics gained a lot of attention, and he used that attention to make the wishes and demands of the Albanians known. And he just progressed in this field, like the more he went on and the braver he became. Together with his brothers and other Albanian intellectuals such as Pashko Voza, who I also made a video about actually, he created, long word, the Central Committee for the Defense of the Rights of the Albanian People in Istanbul. They all obviously knew that it was a great obstacle to our language that we didn't have a standardized alphabet, which does not mean we didn't have an alphabet, but that we had several. So they established an alphabet commission too, with Sami serving as its chairman. He also served as the chairman of the Society for Printing Albanian Literature as well. These efforts were obviously banned by the Ottoman authorities later on, so the society relocated to Bucharest in Romania. As for the alphabet, check out my other videos on that to better understand what I'm talking about. According to my humble understanding, Sami's goal was that all people should embrace their own language, culture, and country. He stated that Albanians were Albanians and that Albania should be free, and that loving your own heritage isn't bad but creates a strong sense of unity. He promoted both Turkish and Albanian identities, and today we're all happy he did, because both cultures are really great but separate. We don't have anything to do with each other historically, except for the Ottoman Empire. Please remember that in this context, nationalism was a fairly new ideology in Europe. Anyway, in Romania, Albanian language books could be printed. The brothers wrote several Albanian grammar books for schools, hence the school names. In the following years, the alphabet debate also greatly engaged the leading figures of the national movement. I can go on and on about his many contributions, but he wrote around 50 publications, as well as many newspaper articles in several languages too. Besides Albanian, he also published in Turkish and French and Arabic as well. I probably forgot some languages. He wrote a 6-volume encyclopedia written in Ottoman Turkish, which was a scientific work of over 4,000 pages, which provided information about the Islamic world and topics that he felt were minimally covered in Western publications. All that is great, but what fascinates me a lot is his play, Besa, which was performed in 1874 at the Ottoman Theatre. It cleverly aimed to awake the Albanian spirit and to unify us, but he disguised it as just a portrayal of Albanian culture. But obviously all Albanians then and today know what the Besa stands for. The play's themes emphasized the sacrifice for the homeland and carried this subversive message encouraging Albanians to unify and defend our nation. Obviously, sometime after the Ottomans realized what was going on, they included this version of the play on this list of books that were seen as inciting national sentiments among Albanians, and thus, like our schools, it was banned. Well, of course it did. Albanians would perform it for years. During the Young Turk Revolution of 1908, there were actually reports of Albanian rebels reenacting scenes from the play around campfires. Sami made his message very, very clear in later publications as well, when he said that above all, the Albanians must unite in a common and create a league and union among themselves, which will cover all of Albania. But that is not all. There's also his influential political manifesto, Albania, what it was, what it is, and what will become of it, right here, which also played a vital role in the Albanian national movement and became a manifesto of our national movement as well, Ridindja Kombëtare. The manifesto aimed for full autonomy within the Ottoman Empire, but it also advocated for the ultimate goal of complete Albanian independence. In chapter 3, so you can see here, Frashëri discusses Albania's situation within the crumbling empire, tracing the history of the Albanians as well. You can kind of see that he's fed up, but you can read it via this link as well. There is so much more I could say, but let's save that for some other time because my time is up and I'm heading out. So have a lovely day and great weekend as well, and see you.